He's dressed in his favorite black suit. As he moves towards the platform, one thinks of this man's humanity, wisdom, and humor. There have been few to match him in the history of this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 16th President of the United States, Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. You may be seated. My reputation seems to have improved since my assassination. Maybe I should thank John Wilkes Booth. Can you hear me all right? When I was here the first time, I had a high-pitched tenor voice. But all the Lincoln movies with Henry Fonda and Raymond Massey and the Lincoln dummy down at Disney World have made people think I had a deep bass voice. So I've been working at dropping my voice so you won't be too distracted. Speaking of being distracted, a woman came up to me and she said, "Lincoln, you're the ugliest man I ever saw in my life." I said, "I can't help it." She said, "You could stay home." People said I was a two-faced politician. Now I put it to you, if I had another face, do you think I'd wear this one? Reminds me of a story. This happened back in New Salem, Illinois. I was shaving one morning. This is before I grew my beard. I began to study myself in the mirror, and I thought, "My Lord, Lincoln, you're an ugly man." Made me so unhappy, I made a vow that morning. If I ever met a man uglier than myself, I'd shoot him on sight. Put him out of his misery. Not long afterwards, I saw this ugly-looking politician. I thought, "Lincoln, this is your lucky day." Went up to him and told him to say his prayers, pulled my pistol. He said, "Why? What have I done, Lincoln?" Told him about my vow. He said, "You honestly think I'm an ugly-looking man than you are?" I said, "I think you are." He said, "For God's sake, shoot me. If I'm uglier than you are, I don't want to live." Not many people expected me to become president, with the possible exception of my wife. My father, Thomas Lincoln, was illiterate. He could barely write his name. I was born in the southern state of Kentucky. Anybody here from Kentucky tonight? A bed constructed of poles covered with corn husks. I carried a backwoods accent with me all my life. I call that a cheer. I call the head of a meeting Mr. Cheerman. I said, "I hear it." I said, "Ain't and ain't." We eventually migrated across the Ohio River to what was then the wilderness of Indiana. Any people from Indiana here?
My Lincoln one-man play did not begin with Abraham Lincoln. It began with celebrity interviews with Charles Schulz, Peanuts, Francis Crick, who with Watson broke the DNA code, Tennessee Williams, John Huston, Aaron Copland, Paul Bear Bryant, Mario Andretti. You see, Lincoln tells their story, the story of every high achiever. As I leave you, I'd like to leave you with my wish for your success. But it's important to know what success is, for it might happen to you and you wouldn't know. So what is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the admiration of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to look for the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden plot, a redeemed social condition, to know that even one soul has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. And my dear friends, that's the kind of success I wish for you. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you. He's inspiring. One of the main reasons I started doing the one-man play was to tell through Lincoln what famous people were telling me. What these famous people were telling me about what they had done to become successful. what they had done to become a high achiever. And so Abraham Lincoln illustrates what it takes to become successful at what you do.
Little boy came up to me and said I'd inspired him to become president. I said, thank you very much. What did I do? He said, nothing you did, sir. It was something my father said. He said, if Lincoln can be president, anybody can be president. Frankly, they've made more of me in death than they should have. They tried to make a saint out of me, which of course I wasn't. I remember my Secretary of War, Mr. Stanton, bending over me and saying, there lies the most perfect ruler of men who ever lived. It was the first compliment he had ever paid me. You laugh. Same thing will happen to you. No matter how ornery you are, somebody will think of something nice to say over you when they're sure you can't come back to benefit from the compliment.
Lincoln was funny. He was a fabulous joke teller. Loved to tell them, loved to hear jokes. A lot of people are surprised to learn that. They think of Lincoln as serious all the time. Not true.
If we both lost our temper at the same time, I would take a long walk. I owe my excellent health to my many years of outdoor life. I remember once a tradesman came to me. He said, Mr. Lincoln, I demand an apology from you. I said, why? He told me that my wife had verbally abused him. I said, sir, can you not put up with 15 minutes of what I've been putting up with for 15 years?
I'm amazed at how many people love Lincoln. They absolutely adore him. Young and old, they just come out of the woodwork. They have statues of him in their offices. They have pictures of him on the walls. And often when I do a performance, they want their photograph made with Lincoln. Lincoln is a story in persistence and the power of will.
When I was a young man, I came upon a profound idea tucked away in the Declaration of Independence. It was one sentence written by Thomas Jefferson. Ladies and gentlemen, that sentence is at the very core of the American way. That sentence, all men are created equal. That's a radical idea then.
People are fascinated by Lincoln. He's an enigma, mysterious. They see in Lincoln many stories. The story I see is a story of high achievement, success, perseverance, self-improvement.